Okay, so how to basically build the Yellowstone pillars. Now, when I was thinking about these pillars, I was actually designing them to actually potentially save America someday. It's kind of weird to say that, but it's like I didn't really. Whenever I first thought of them, I was like, how do I? Basically, how I came up with the question, I was looking at the Yellowstone supervolcano. I was watching a video on it about it just blowing up and stuff, and I was like, okay, so how would we stop that? Like, how could we stop that? I kind of was coming up with ideas on like, we could put like a shield over Yellowstone. I was just playing with my imagination here, and I was just playing with it, and like I was like, we could put a shield over it. And I was like, that would probably when it blows, it would rupture the shield. And I was like, we could build something in the sky where it's like if the ash cloud got so high up in the sky, it would basically like it hit something up in space almost, and it would knock all the ash out into space basically, and basically like prevent America from getting swamped by a supervolcano and the rest of the world. And I was like, that might not work. So then I was like, okay, well I'm kind of out of options here. And I was like, we could build pillars in states outside the kill zone, where it's like when the ash cloud starts like coming at you, there'd be someone out there to stop it, potentially. And it actually give people time to, and people are in the United States, give people time to actually, like, get out of the country. Or, like, to get out and stuff. To move and kind of, Because right now we have, like, when I look, like, I can see these pillars being done, and how to build them is really simple. Like, if we had this in place, I'm not going to tell you where to place them in this video, because it's, like, I know where to place them. I know what states to place them and stuff. It's just, like, this is kind of how to build them. Okay, so basically what you want to do, since it's a Yellowstone shield, you really want it to basically stand strong and basically be able to withstand the potential pressure that would be hitting it. And it's like, you really got to anchor the pillars probably 50 to 100 feet down. Kind of, this would be an example. And then build a solid steel block at the bottom of the hole by pouring steel down there. Now you might say, why would you build a steel block at the bottom of this 50-foot to 100-foot hole? That'd basically be our building block. That'd be like the building block where we start building on top of that. And it's like, you might be like, okay, that kind of makes sense. Like, how would we actually do that though? I had to think about all this before and figure all this out kind of on my own, truthfully. So, like, this idea might sound really radical to people, and it might not make sense for a long time, but it's like, I'm getting this video out there. It's like, how we would build the steel block would be really simple. We'd probably have to literally use a helicopter to literally pour steel down in this hole, and basically use something like a stilt. I don't know if you'd call it a stilt. I saw in my imagination when I was thinking about it. I just don't know what to call it. It'd basically be like, you'd have like 4 little prongs and a little hole in the center of it, like a pretty big hole. And the reason for that is, like, you really want to get, whenever you pour the steel down there, you want the steel to basically hit something and make it even. Make the steel block even on all around the sides of it and stuff. Because, like, if you poured steel down there and basically, like, essentially it wasn't even, the whole pillars would fall apart. Like, if it was tilted or anything, like, you want to make this at the bottom of it really freaking smooth and even. Because if you have that part down where it's like you can pour literally molten hot steel down there and build a steel block, we'll have the steel block down there that we could use as a building block. And then basically, like, something that would basically give us, like, the ability to do it. Because if you just try to drop it like a 50-foot steel block down there to anchor these in, like, if it fell wrong, you couldn't move it, and you'd be like, well, there's a lot of steel. This would give the people the way to basically build the pillars without, like, literally potentially dropping a huge ton of steel and, like, a couple hundred, like 50 to 100 feet in the ground. It's like, this would give it would be smooth. it would be smooth. Because we'd have something to actually like basically smooth it over, and we'd be able to build that steel block. And whenever you have that steel block, you can basically like use steel bricks on the outsides of the pillar. Basically, like, once you have that brick, start using like steel bricks on the sides, because you really want, if you're building a Yellowstone shield, you really want to build it out of something that's gonna stand, be strong enough, sturdy enough to basically hold. So you kind of build steel bricks around, basically around the pillar, in like a square shape. A square shape, okay? Just like, it would just be around the pillar. And then once you have that like basic framework, you could basically use 20 to 30 foot blue cylinders that are like 50 feet wide to get the height quickly. And you might say like, okay, you basically like, okay, use 20 to like, you might be like, why 50 feet wide? Because you want to be able, these pillars want to be able to hold. And like, these pillars want to be hold, and like, once you get that, the 20 to 30 foot blue cylinders that are 50 feet wide in the hole, like, and you kind of get that base around the first building block and stuff. You basically, what you do is then you just fill the cylinders with cement. You might be like wondering, okay, like, you just fill the cylinders with cement, and it's like, doing that would make it rock solid, and it would kind of look like this. Like, I kind of drew out on the blue would be this, like, I didn't really know how to draw the 3D version of this. It's just like this. Red is the red cylinder would be what's filled with cement, and the blue is like the steel that would go all the way up, and like, it would literally go all the way up, and it'd be like in a square. It'd be a square within, like, there'd be a cylinders inside the square, and this whole pillar would be like rock solid. And then basically what you want to do after that, once you kind of get that basic framework down, you really want to space like the pillars probably 500 feet across from each other. And then once you have that down, like, you really want to build a support beam at the top of the pillars to build like a triangle formation to basically hold the curtains. To basically be able to hold the curtains from the Yellowstone volcano, like the ash cloud. And basically, like, once you have that, it would basically look like this. Like, I'm telling you right now, this would potentially be an eyesore for people who lived in the States that actually built it, but it could potentially, like, save their life someday. Because if it ever blew up and then we didn't have anything, it's kind of tragic when you think about it. And it's like, this is kind of what it would look like. Like, you got the bases and stuff, and you got like the curtains right here, and you might be wondering, okay, I'm kind of following you here. You got the building block, you got like the cylinders where you fill them with cement, and it's like you kind of need you kind of need helicopters to do this, because we could potentially build these pillars. We'd probably have to build these pillars like 15,000 to 20,000 feet high, which would be the highest known structure ever built in this planet Earth. Probably will always be the highest structure ever built in this planet Earth. That's where it's like, this idea, when it came to me, I kind of went a little, when I saw it, I was like, whoa, with what's going on in the world today, and like all this like volcanic eruption stuff, like, I was like, I'm gonna get this idea out there and see what people think. And other than that, like, the only issue I'm having with this is I'm not even really having an issue with it, is basically, could the curtains withstand the immediate eruption and stuff like that? Because I have no idea if it potentially could, because it's like the pillars would be built outside the kill zone. I think it really essentially could, and I wouldn't be really worried about them kind of getting them kind of blown apart and stuff like that. And it's like, we could do some crazy stuff in America. We could basically, these pillars would give us a different way of looking at the Yellowstone supervolcano. And it'd be like, because I'm telling you right now, this might sound radical, but it's like if we have these pillars set up, we could potentially use these pillars to stop a lot of the ash. A lot of the ash, essentially. Like, I don't want to explain how in this video, but we could use these pillars to stop a lot of the ash. A lot of the ash cloud and stuff, just by using your imagination. I don't want to tell you in this video on how, because it's like, it's really radical. But anyways, that's kind of how to build the Yellowstone pillars. You really want to anchor the pillars 50 feet to 100 feet down, put a solid steel block at the bottom of the hole by pouring steel down there. You know, you could use a Black Hawk helicopter, but most likely that way, you know, whenever you're pouring in the cement, pouring in the steel and stuff, like, you could pour in the middle. And it's like, you probably actually, whenever you're thinking about that, you'd actually want to use 2 Black Hawk helicopters. You know, one attached to the top of the thing that's pouring the cement, and one attached to the bottom of it. So you can kind of just have the back helicopter just lift up, and it would just like use common physics to just pour all the steel down there. That's kind of how. And then it's like you use steel bricks to basically build the base, and kind of just like literally on the corners you can use like literally steel frames, kind of just like, you know, make it look tough. And then use cylinders to basically blue cylinders that are like kind of like 20 to 30 feet high and kind of 50 feet in width to basically get the basic height and strength in the middle of it really fast, and space the pillars out probably 500 feet across, and then build a support beam at the top in a triangle formation to basically withstand to basically be able to hold the curtains and stuff like that. And it's like, other than that, that's kind of my idea on how to build these Yellowstone pillars, and I just really need to get this out there. So if you have any questions, feel free to let me know in the comments below. And check out my series on getting rich on the internet. So other than that, see you on the beach there with my friend. Bye-bye.